video is mostly going to be comparison of a number of different sniper rifles. We took 10 of the most popular ones that we have here and just sort of did a head-to-head comparison based on range, accuracy, velocity, and a number of other factors, and just sort of came up with our own sort of comparison so that for you guys that are out there that are thinking about getting into this sport or thinking about maybe purchasing a sniper rifle, you can get a little more information on the specifics of the rifles that are available and exactly what you're getting into with these guns. Because unfortunately, a lot of the websites, when you're looking at the descriptions of them, they're not very descriptive as to exactly how the gun performs, you know, under certain circumstances, like actually shooting the gun. They'll show it to you, and you know, but you never actually get to see
on your own
what you're getting when you're actually firing the gun. So, without any further ado, the video for this week is our SNIPERPALOOZA video. So the first gun we're going to talk about today is the A&K M24. This was sort of my pick as the first gun, not so much on performance or anything like that, but because this is, at least to me, probably one of the most recognizable sniper rifles that are out there, because this is based on the Remington 700 design. You know a little bit more about the Army designation is?
The M24, yeah. Essentially the same weapon system, just with, you know, slight modifications, and with the U.S. Army designation. When you're looking at the airsoft variant, you can see, just like he mentioned, it's pretty much a standard bolt action sniper. It doesn't really get too complicated. It doesn't have too many bells and whistles. It's a stock, does have an adjustable butt pad, which is nice. You've got an area to put a scope, and we actually had to add the area to put the bipod, yes?
The thing that bothered me the most was that you cannot get a replacement magazine for this. A lot of the big sites advertise them, but for the last 3 or 4 months they've been on back order. So that to me is a major problem. If you're going to be buying an airsoft gun and you can't get replacement parts for it, or you can't get additional magazines, it sort of kills it for me. You need to consider that if you're thinking about purchasing this rifle. It advertises as having a 450 foot per second velocity, and we clocked it at
about 460. We were using 0.2 gram BBs for all of our chrono tests. I just feel like that's an industry standard. For our accuracy tests, though, we were using 0.3s to try and get that little bit of extra grouping in there, just to make it a little bit more consistent.
Right. And in accuracy, once we tested the gun, it was a little bit of a letdown.
It was. When we test the guns, we made sure that we kept as many constants and, you know, left out as many variables as we possibly can, such as our own shooting capabilities and anything like that. We zeroed the scopes into the best of our abilities.
In the case of what we were doing, given the amount of time it took us 2 days to go through all of these guns and test fire them. Each gun, what we did is we sat down, we did a bore sighting with it, first with a laser sight, got the scope in the ballpark, then we fired it at some steel targets just to make sure we were getting a fairly consistent grouping with it. And once I considered that I was hitting, you know, about a 12-inch target consistently, then we went ahead and started shooting at the actual paper targets to get an idea of exactly where the gun was hitting. So long as we were being consistent enough to hit the paper, that was what we were looking at. Just consider the grouping, and the grouping on this particular gun was about a 12-inch spread, and it really didn't show. Some guns will favor the left or the right. This one sort of did what you would almost call a shotgun pattern, where it just randomly sprayed all about the paper.
I think it's also important to notice, or to take note of, how far we were shooting in the test. That's about 100 feet, give or take.
Now that's another thing that we can get into later, is the actual distance. 100 feet to me is a good range for a sniper rifle. I know I hear guys talking about hitting people out to 100 yards or 200 yards. 200 yards really seems...
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just...
far-fetched to me, but I know I'm going to get some hate mail on that one.
Picks or it didn't happen.
So the bottom line on the A&K M24 is, it's okay. It's not a bad gun.
If you're looking at a really tight budget, this is one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest option that you can buy. So considering that, I mean, we just brought it up on the laptop, it's about $110 online, $120, you know, at the most. I mean, considering that, it's not a terrible budget buy, but later we'll discuss that.
Well, you're still going to have to consider when you're looking at the gun here, you would also have to add the scope and the bipod to that price. So depending on how expensive your taste is, you can add almost another $100 to that price tag. The downside of this gun is, number one, not very accurate. Number two, replacement magazines are nearly non-existent. So to me, the minuses outweigh the pluses on this particular.
Definitely, which is unfortunate because I mean, M24 is my favorite sniper.
It's a cool-looking gun, and it's
awesome.
Don't let yourself be seduced by just the looks of a gun. Take into account all these other things when you're thinking about purchasing.